It's time I went back and joined everyone in the small salon.
I mean, I've got to check it out. How am I getting... Experience increases by 5% because I've read 5 manuscripts. Yeah, that goes fast once you can read 3 at a time. I thought it was 3 per day, but apparently it's per chapter, and the chapter was me being in like 2 rooms. The timescale of the stuff is getting weird. My sense of when chapters happen, or when books happen, or when clues are supposed to be for now or later is all out of whack. I was able to get resources out of one of you before.
You are expected in the small salon, sir. You are expected in the small salon, sir. You are expected in the small salon, sir.
Oh my god, he's broken. So the chapter ended, but we didn't rest. And because I have not rested, my energy's not refilled. And so it was worth using the... Apparently it was worth using the other thing, the, golden elixir. So that's the tower room. Yeah, I should have checked via the map. That would have helped me not accidentally get up in the wrong place. The small salon is downstairs to the north. Was this map here before? I don't seem to remember it. This is all pretty familiar territory. I'm not sure if I should expect anything new. Hello, strange book. Probably worth wondering whether you can enter anyone's rooms. That's definitely panned out in the past. You're not allowed to use this staircase. They go to great lengths to strangely block you from some of the staircases sometimes.
Huh, that's me.
I don't think I'm going to be getting access today. These doors are not offering me any party. Well, I guess it was worth a shot. I mean, that's how we got into Elizabeth's room while she wasn't there. Wait, you can't go there either? Wait, which spot am I on? Ah. But where does that go to? A whole chunk that I don't have access to, it seems? But there is a staircase there. We just can't use that staircase. They didn't even use the excuse of there being a guy sweeping there. They're just like, dude, fuck off. Go the right way, dummy.
Emily, I must speak to you.
What's the matter, Louis?
I have news about your sister.
What have you found out?
Look, I've started piecing together the events leading up to my mother's disappearance and your sister's. Did my mother know about your secret?
Yes, even though I belong to the English chapter, her rank in the Order gives her access to a good deal of personal information.
It must have been Emma I saw in my vision.
I was given to understand that my mother and your sister bonded during their stay.
Let's double check on how she reacts to things. Vulnerable to psychology, we don't know what else. Probably not it might not be the best idea to put her on my mother's trail. Weird how we're more willing to use subterfuge on her than the last guy.
If Mother's really killed her sister, I'd better find her by myself. They say they spent a lot of time together. They got along well.
Oh, really? Do you think your mother liked Duchess Hillsborough?
Of course she did. After all, she's your sister. Well, we'll find them, Emily. Trust me.
Should I speak to her about my vision? If what I saw is true, she might want to take revenge. I better keep that to myself for the time being.
Come, Louis. They're waiting for us.
You will pay dearly, Peru. I'm sure you were involved somewhere along the line.
That's right. Pretend you don't know. One piece of advice. Don't travel through France on your way back, or it'll cost you dearly.
Calm now, my friends. Let's calm down. Everyone seems to be a little unnecessarily heated. Don't forget where you are, please.
What's going on here exactly?
Sir Gregory called us together to introduce the last guest.
But hardly had we arrived when he set upon Monsieur Peru.
And who is this charming character?
Manuel Godoy, the Duke of La Alcudia.
He's the head of the Spanish government, Monsieur de Richet. He's the one who, in practice, controls Spain.
How could you dare do such a thing? Dios mío, you are all out of your minds!
Really, Duke Manuel? What made you kick up such a fuss?
What? Have you not heard? Well, let me inform you that yesterday morning at 10:22 a.m. precisely, in the middle of the Place de la Révolution in Paris, by decree of the National Convention which Monsieur Peru works for, King Louis was guillotined.
What? Oh, no.
The King of France is dead, gentlemen. Our monarchies are in danger. I have said it before. How dare they?
Oh, dear.
Oh, as if
Gracious.
Friends, let us calm down.
Don't pretend to be surprised. He got a fair trial.
Ridiculous. Bastard. He was sentenced to death by 361 votes to 360. You beheaded a king for one vote. Is that your democracy?
What an obnoxious act. Until this, anything was possible. This political coup will have grave consequences.
France is lost.
Gentlemen, please. Let us take a step back a moment.
In the name of holiness, he was the highest representative of God in France, Emily.
If I remember rightly, what Mother told me one night, King Louis was secretly also part of the Order. I wonder what impact his death will have on us.
Sad news, sir.
With whom do I have the pleasure of speaking?
Louis Maras de Richet.
Are you related to Sarah de Richet?
Sarah is his mother, Duke. Gentlemen, this news affects us all, but I must ask you to remain calm. It's not the first time history has taken us by surprise. Let's ensure that our respective countries are allowed to respond appropriately to this news.
Oh, rest assured, the response will not fall short, my friend.
Good for you. Well, Your Grace, here I was preparing to introduce you as is proper, and you've beaten me to it. I'm delighted that we are all together at last. Our meeting will therefore be able to kick off shortly. I have just a few more little preparations to take care of before you all find out the reason for your presence here. In the meantime, I shall leave you to get to know one another. When you hear the bell, please proceed to the conclave room on my left, behind that door. I'll see you later.
Could you spare a moment, please, sir?
I'm glad you asked. I want to talk to you, too.
Of course.
I heard about your mother's disappearance.
He looks concerned. I don't know why, but I doubt it's from sympathy alone. Well, let's see what he wants from me.
Any news of her? Have you found her, maybe?
Oh my god. I'm not particularly great at either of these things. And I'm running out of stamina quickly. Shit. I had like no stamina.
Why? Is there something you particularly wanted from her?
No, not specially.
My questions made him feel uneasy, but he's keeping his emotions under control.
Your mother and I used to often speak together. I have rarely met someone so learned. To tell you the truth, I was about to make a deal with her. Did she tell you about our arrangement?
Oh, that could backfire so hard. Should we try the thorn? He's not immune to it.
Absolutely, but I was hoping that you could tell me more about it.
Well, she was planning to sell me a very old book. I will make no secret of the fact that I am passionate about the subject, and when Sarah spoke to me about it, her account literally had me enthralled. I can think of nothing else since. You might have come across some old books in her belongings, perhaps?
As my mother's got so many old books, I'm afraid I won't be able to...
Oh, it's easy. You can't mistake this one. It's an ancient grimoire, composed of 7 parts. Each one is closed under lock and key. It was made in such a way that if someone tried to tamper with it, the sheets would be permanently tarnished. If you find it, you mustn't tamper with it. You see?
That's unusual.
Unfortunately, that doesn't ring a bell. I'll look again, but I wouldn't get my hopes up.
You seem very upset. Is it so important to you, this book?
Well, it's the search of a lifetime. What can I say? Every time I move closer to it, it seems to slip away at the last minute. I was very surprised to learn that your mother had it in her possession. I thought it was with a certain von Borchardt in Paris. Do you know him?
Indeed. One of your close friends?
No, not really, but we were close once. Precisely over the case that concerns us now, because he claimed to have the book I'm looking for.
Another dishonest person. What can you say? Can't trust anyone these days, huh?
No, you can't.
I hope I've been able to satisfy your curiosity, Mr. von Volner, and that you succeed in finding what you're looking for.
Oh, and so do I.
And now, what if you told me who you really are working for, instead of keeping up this pretense?
I beg your pardon?
We both know what you're looking for, von Volner. You're the one who von Borchardt was planning to sell it to.
For centuries, all those who have come into contact with the Al-Azif have bitterly regretted it, Monsieur de Richet. You are playing a dangerous game. Please know that I am working for someone who does not appreciate anyone poking around in his business.
Let me guess. Your dear king, I should think.
What? You mean Frederick William? Oh, my poor fellow. You are miles away. That stupid, pretentious puppet wields no real power. But seeing as you do not wish to be serious, so be it. Good luck to you.
Oh, am I fucking up? I got incredibly lucky in that I'm sitting here looking at my complete lack of effort points and just how screwed I am, and then I happen to talk to somebody who is completely vulnerable to something that I specialize in. Thank God. I almost feel like something has gone wrong, though. Maybe I'm screwed over by the fact that I was drugged, so I didn't sleep correctly or something. Or maybe I'm just imagining this, but I could have sworn that when you sleep in this game, you get your effort points back. And I have, like, no effort points. And I'm trying to go all day without, like, any of them. And I'm thinking it might be because I didn't sleep.
Chronicles of the Amber Princess, as I recall, Dorkin was my favorite character.
We got a new character thing. This is filling in. That was one of the options I had, is whether he was working for home. Which struck me as a little bit odd, but he's a new addition, so I need to figure out what to do with him. Oh, he's a friend of Sir Gregory Home. Shit. I probably should have tried that. Alright. Manuel Godoy. Secretary of State and head of the Spanish government. A favorite of King Charles IV of Spain, Godoy rapidly climbed the political ranks. Lover of Queen Marie-Louise Bourbon of Parma, he attracted the envy of Spanish princes. As the Secretary of State, he developed and strengthened the Spanish colonial empire, especially in the Americas. A close friend of Louis XVI, King of France, he worked hard for the king's liberation, but in vain. This served to fuel his resentment of the Republican government of France. Did I just say Republic? Is Republican from Papers, Please? Is that what I just almost said? Invited by Sir Gregory Home, Godoy arrived at Lord Mortimer's manor with the firm intention of calming the expansionist desires of the United States of America on their continent. Mortimer's still not on this, is he? There he is, never mind. William Mortimer. Oh. Is that the mistake I made before? Shit. I mixed up generic white dudes. I think I sat down in front of... Did I sit down in front of Mortimer earlier and read von Wollner's dossier, which I might have read before? That's why... Okay. I was genuinely confused, because I was like, why is he's like, I heard about your mother's disappearance. I'm like, yeah, we just talked about it a moment ago. That's the scene I did before the puzzle room. It's like, no, they're different people. I was like, why is everyone not acting like this guy doesn't run the place? Because he's not Mortimer. It turns out taking 2-month breaks between every fifth of the story might not be the best way for trying to keep all these characters straight. I don't know if this is a game that benefits from an episodic structure of release. Then have I ever read this one before? Lord William Alexander Mortimer, Marquis of Westfordshire and peer of Great Britain, and an extremely rich English aristocrat, as discreet as he is influential. An investor of talent, Mortimer's success in business was masterful. He finished by withdrawing from the public arena and isolating himself more and more often on his private island. A major patron of the arts, he finances a large number of arts in diverse fields and takes great pleasure in bringing together unexpected personalities. He has the same with the greats of this world, men of influence, men of the state of the time. He regularly organizes social gatherings on his private island off the coast of England. I feel like we might have read that before, but without the face portrait being available yet. I don't think it used to show us what he looked like until now. In fact, I think he was specifically shrouded in mystery in a few scenes, which was a bit odd. We've had a few different perks and traits show up. Yeah, there's one of them. Use manipulation 10 times, got a point in manipulation. Go figure. So I went all in on that. I just desperately need points. I'm gonna carefully look around to try to find more. Which mostly takes place in the form of, mostly honey. Which I'm not getting a ton of. And if you hit somebody's weakness, you can also regain some effort, but even that's a slow and rare process. I really just need sleep or something. This room may not be offering me any favors. Oh boy. Thanks, room. Well, let's look at Napoleon, because I'm about to talk to him, probably. He's immune to conviction in politics, but he's vulnerable to etiquette, and there's something else going on that we don't know about. Can't read the book or anything. Things are just going swimmingly at the moment. I'll play the harp to charm them.
Monsieur Bonaparte, may I speak with you a moment?
May we?
What do you think of Duke Godoy?
Well, I'd rather not express any opinion of him.
Why is that?
His reputation is enough for me.
You'll be able to check if the hearsay is true over these next few days.
I sincerely doubt that. The context does not allow me to give him my trust.
I understand your point of view. Does expression go beyond the nightmare mean anything to you at all?
Well, metaphorically, yes. It sums up the career of a soldier quite well. I doubt that is what you want to hear, though.
Indeed.
That's surely not what I'm looking for.
Well, monsieur, if you are looking for a phrase book, Lord Mortimer must surely have one, given the number of books he has. You ought to check in the library of the tower. You never know.
Would you have any more information about the conference Lord Mortimer spoke of?
Nothing at all. Mortimer is very committed to secrecy when it comes to his conferences. But given the presence of Monsieur Peru and ourselves, I think it must concern France to some extent. Otherwise, I doubt he would have invited 3 Frenchmen to his table, huh?
Well, I'll be leaving you now. Shall we meet up again later?
Wait, monsieur. Any news of your mother?
Unfortunately not, no.
I hope to speak with her about my deal before I leave. Let me know if you find her. À plus tard, monsieur.
Maybe I can just wander back to the library tower. Or the library in the tower room. What's it called? Yeah, it's just called the tower room. Why is it called is it actually in the tower? Is there a visible tower? I wasn't going up, necessarily. I'm bad at castles, evidently. Kind of wonder if I can just go right back up there and try again at the mother's secret.
What can I do for you, sir? I am at your service day and night, sir.
As I was unable to bring my personal effects with me, I was wondering if you could find me a few items.
Of course, sir. What would you require?
There's no mention of honey, unfortunately.
You wouldn't have a little golden elixir I could use, would you?
Oh, unfortunately, sir, I have orders not to give any of that medicine to any of Lord Mortimer's guests. Some guests are here to follow a very strict treatment. Mixing or combining certain substances would be dangerous for sir.
I could get to it with science, but it would cost me 3 points, which means I'd have to use my last honey to get there, and I have 3 golden elixirs already, so spending stuff for it's not necessarily worth it.
What can you tell me about the guests?
Do excuse me, sir, but I am bound by discretion to say nothing about Lord Mortimer's guests, sir. Perhaps sir would like to know something else?
I remember you now. You're the guy that's like, "Can I help you, sir? By the way, I will not answer any of your questions and I'm basically incapable of helping you, sir." I'm like, okay. What is that? Oh, that's just a sit-down spot, right? What? I heard a sound. Oh. Oh, there's just a coin. How disappointing, sir. Yes, look at the statue, sir. It is, in fact, a statue, sir.
Blind Oedipus. Blinded himself. What a tragic destiny.
I imagine there might not be anything new spawning in places we've already explored, which is most of the castle now.
Go beyond the nightmare. Does this line remind you of anything in particular?
You've caught me unaware here, Louis. Let me think about it a second. No, nothing comes to mind. Sorry, Louis, but I am unable to help you.
Mr. President, what do you think about your counterpart, Duke Manuel?
I'm very surprised he was able to accept Lord Mortimer's invitation, given the political situation in Spain.
I wonder what promise Lord Mortimer could have made to make him agree to come here, given the circumstances.
Who knows?
Well, thank you for your time.
Don't mention it, my young friend. Regarding your question on the nightmare, don't hesitate to question the others about it. Maybe one of them knows more than I do.
That's a good idea. Thank you once again. I'll see you in a little bit.
I'm gonna try to avoid spending any more points until I get to what feels like a more vital situation, because I am at the edge of what my character can handle. That's a lot of butterflies. This is where we ate here before, right?
Ah, Louis. Just the man. Good Lord. How did the king come to be executed? I would think that the order would have intervened.
I invite you to speak about it with my mother as soon as she reappears.
Is there any news of her?
Well, I hope it won't be long before I find her, Your Eminence.
Louis, I'm counting on you. If you don't find Sarah before my departure, I must ask you to give me back the letter I gave you.
Well, don't worry about that, Your Eminence.
Now you wanted to speak to me.
If I say the nightmare to you, does it make you think of anything?
Your question is strange, my son. Difficult to say. Could you at least tell me a little more about the context?
Think of a place and tell me the first thing that comes into your mind when I say the nightmare.
Let me think. I'd say Lord Mortimer's favorite painting on the wall behind his desk. You know, that painting caused quite a stir when it was exhibited. It is titled The Nightmare, and it shows a woman lying down with a creature sitting on her. And in the background, a horse. I don't know if it will be of any help, but I can't think of anything else.
You never know. Thank you for that, though, Your Eminence.
I gotta go and see it just in case, though.
Actually, yeah, I know about that painting. The one that has the creepy horse coming out from the curtains over like a sleeping woman. It's a painting people point out when they talk about sleep paralysis.
I'm sure a man like you is in the circle of trust. Would you know what the conference that Lord Mortimer mentioned is going to be about?
Not really, my son. Well, be it Lord Mortimer or Sir Gregory, we are never informed about the theme of the conference before it begins.
I was wondering what to think of that Manuel Godoy.
He is reputed to be a very ambitious character, at every level. But his faith is unwavering. He is a staunch defender of the church. You can believe me.
Thank you for everything, Your Eminence. I shan't take up any more of your time.
You are welcome, my son. I will be seeing you, Louis.
Skipping over these options is causing me physical pain. Okay, so the game's pretty convinced that that is in fact the next place to go. I'm admittedly kind of scraping around a bit for anything that highlights...
All right. I've retrieved everything.
Yes. Oh yes, this is one of the locations where I... This is one of the rooms where I found items lying around, but I couldn't carry them yet, because I just had so many of them at that time. That time has passed. What was that prompt for? Oh.
Hey, a Russian ruble. I wonder what it'd be worth today.
Just listening for the sound. Very effective. The portrait gallery and the library. This should all be pretty familiar territory.
Actress, the Miller brothers. Mother expressly forbade me from reading it.
Funnily enough, the Book of Atris, or I think it's Atris, isn't it? The Book of Atris by the Miller brothers is actually a book that just arrived in the mail today. I was like, let's just order the Mist books. Why not? And the three of them combined, each of them's like each of them, it can be found on Amazon for like $5 each. Wow, I'm just stocking up on coins in areas that I swear I've been to before. We've already found 6 more this episode, I think.